Hello, Mr. Raka.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Thank you for joining the program today, Mr. Raka. We're here to quickly discuss about Father Mbaka. He recently apologized for, criticizing Peter Obi. What happened? Have you been following the trend?
Yes, I've been following the trend. Truth is that the likes of Father Mbaka are a product of a derailed Christianity in Nigeria. For quite some time now, watching the trend in Christianity, you could see that gone are those days when Christianity was about salvation, where the kingdom of God is at hand. Give your life to Christ, for the kingdom of God is at hand. Back in the 80s, Christianity was more or less about salvation. Back in the 80s, when you see a pastor, you quickly want to behave yourself, want to exemplify chastity or good moral values when your pastor is around. But over the years, now Christianity has changed from salvation to posterity. And when we talk about posterity, that gives room for the introduction of money. A lot of churches, before now, we have thought that the Pentecostal churches are the only churches that are more centered and focused about money, tithes and offering. The Catholic too have joined, and the forerunners of the Catholic Church who are now engaged in financial solicitation is adoration ministry, pastored or overseen by Father Mbaka. This same character, the first time I heard about Father Mbaka was when I was in Abuja. I went into my friend's office, and the first thing he showed to me was he handed over his phone to me and showed me the video. Then Father Mbaka made a video attacking Goodluck Jonathan, where he said, Goodluck Jonathan is bad luck, and Buhari is the savior. So that was my first interaction. That was my first acquaintance with Father Mbaka. But I tried not to give in to the picture because I was in front of my friend who incidentally is a northerner, so I didn't want to give him the pleasure of having a punch on me. So when I went back, I watched the video. So I saw where he was doing everything possible to run down Goodluck Jonathan and uplift Goodluck Jonathan, saying that Buhari is a messiah. My second acquaintance with the same character Mbaka was, I think it was a bazaar where he was together with Peter Obi, and he was also soliciting for no, before Peter Obi, I saw when Ganduje, popularly known as Gandola, the present governor of Kano State, uh, went to his church, and he also solicited for money, even telling them the job he did by running down Goodluck Jonathan. So the third acquaintance I had with Mbaka was when Peter Obi visited him. So, and he threatened that if Peter Obi no settle, they will not win the election. And I remember in that adoration, you're distracting me. And in that adoration ministry, Peter Obi handed over a small envelope, and he said, "No, it's not this type of envelope. He wants something big." And then uh, something something deteriorated into some form of spectacle. But the bottom line is that Father Mbaka was soliciting for financial aid, and he was using the ministry as a blackmail. He was using the ministry to blackmail people to to sow seed in the Pentecostal churches. It is actually calling sowing of seed. I don't know what they call it in the Catholic circle, but it was actually blackmailing them uh, using the ministry to blackmail, saying that if you don't do this, you will not do that. Because he has a prophecy. Now, there's a difference between prophecy and pronouncement. So, Fatom Baka feels if you don't give money, you will not get it. If you give the money, you get it. Then it's not prophecy. Prophecy is revelation of what will happen. So irrespective of whether you give money or not, it is what is happened. If at all somebody can give money and change the course of revelation, then it is no longer prophecy. Prophecy is what you see. It's like a forecast. I forecasted that Manchester United is going to defeat Liverpool by 2-1. But I'm not telling Chelsea, if you give him money, the result will upturn. So it's no longer a prophecy, it's a pronouncement. So Father Mbaka was blackmailing people with the church. So his recent outburst was because I think Father Mbaka didn't forget the fact that Peter Obi didn't drop money that time. So to Father Mbaka, it was still a debt that Peter Obi needs to pay. Once again, he decided to use the church or the ministry or the prophecy as a blackmail to cajole Peter Obi, saying that if Peter Obi does not settle or sow seed, he is not going to be the president of Nigeria. Even went further to say the man is stingy. Now, I think Father Mbaka, on the other hand, didn't anticipate the type of reaction he will get. Perhaps he thought when he did that to Jonathan, people were angry with Jonathan, so he possibly got away with that. So he thought he could also get away with Jonathan. But I think the backlash, I think he thought he could get away with Peter Obi. So the backlash resulting from his blackmail on Peter Obi, I think it's what pressurized him to apologize. Even at that, I believe the bishop of the archdiocese have ostracized other members from attending adoration ministry or any activity involving Father Mbaka's parish. So I think that is what result to his apology. The apology, even listening to the apology, you can see that it wasn't really, it was not a heartfelt apology. It's an apology coerced from the pressure of the fact that the support Peter Obi has is overwhelming. Having said that, even though it is not a topic for today's, it is not the topic for today, it goes to show that our men of God, in bracket, in inverted commas, our men of God have totally derailed from the calling of God. I think the church started derailing when they started involving in politics. The height of it was the fact that in 2011, owing to the fact that the church felt worried, dared the church that Muslims should vote for Muslim and Christians should vote for Christian, and then that led to a massive vote of Christians to Jonathan and a massive Muslim vote to Buhari, and that didn't actually pay off to those who triggered the type of religious vote. And because of that, I can tell you for sure that that is not happening again. That they will not create a scenario where that happened again, even though that is seemingly what's going to happen in 2023. That is seemingly what's going to happen, but I don't want it to come from my mouth. So our pastors have completely derailed from the natural calling, and the calling is salvation of man from going to hell and making heaven. That is the primary responsibility of any man of God. Then adding to that, we in those days, men of God are a center of morality. Men of God instilled morality in people. Men of God solved husband and wife issues. Men of God solved recalcitrant children that were wayward, that couldn't listen to their parents. Men of God solved family dispute. But today, men of God are now the one taking wives from husband. They're demanding money, taking a deed of contract from houses. In fact, the church today has become something. Maybe we will discuss the issue of the church in another topic. Today we are talking about Father Mbaka. So Father Mbaka epitomizes the recalcitrance that has inundated our churches today. There are many of them. There are many of them who will sell the the interest of the church for money. I think Father Mbaka is simply
Mr.
looking
Raka,
for,
Mr. Raka,
yeah,
do you think that
yeah,
Father Mbaka is involving himself too much in the Nigerian politics? Because
absolutely, 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 absolutely. Because I think Father Mbaka is a money-minded person. He is a money-minded person. I think everything, all the issues that he has been having is money. All the issue he has been having is money. So when you have people who have derailed from the salvation of man to the love of money, you have the likes of Father Mbaka. And he's not only the one. Basically, look at Bakare, Tunde Bakare. Look at what's that one that speaks big English? Felix Liberty, no, Chris Okotie. Just in fact, today I really don't think there are any man of God today I can single-handedly say, okay, this man of God is out. Politics, I hear a lot of them are making statements to get recognition for the highest bidder. So I think that is what Father Mbaka is doing. Father Mbaka may have thought that, okay, Peter Obi is the less likely presidential uh, bet, but Peter Obi is also posing a threat. So whoever that can take this threat out of the way will endear the recognition of the highest bidder. So that, why is he not speaking against Atiku? Why is he not speaking against Tinubu? Because these two guys are, you are distracting me now, for goodness sake. Abba. Because these two guys are the ones where the money can flow from. You already know that he already acknowledged that Peter Obi is stingy. Peter Obi already said he doesn't give shishi. So if he can destroy Peter Obi, just as he aided in destroying Jonathan, he can also begin to get money. Perhaps Atiku will meet him, take this in for a job well done, or APC or the bullion van guy will also give him money well done for a job well done. So I think it's all about getting uh, recognition for the highest bidder for taking their. Because if you can see, it's like the job of every politician now is to bring down Peter Obi. Nobody is talking about APC is not campaigning against Atiku. Atiku is not campaigning against APC. It's almost as if they've agreed that, okay, it is the two of us that are going to be in this race. Let's take this one out. So, what's his name? Mbaka is only doing a job. It's just an advertorial statement. It's an advertisement act, hoping to get the attention of the highest bidder who will give him money. I think that's what this is all about.
so he's being partisan in his comment.
Absolutely,
Yeah, it's been
absolutely, and that is not good for the church. The church is not supposed to be partisan. But for now, I think for me, if the church must be partisan, the church must be partisan in a way that it protects the church itself. When I mean the church, I'm talking about the body of church in Nigeria.
mhm.
Never in the history of Christianity in Nigeria has Christianity suffered persecution like it did in this 8 years administration of the Buhari administration. Never. The most recent atrocity committed to the church is the our bomb blast. Can you imagine in our lifetime armed bandits walking into the church and shooting at people sporadically, snuffing out lives of people who are armless and defenseless, worshiping God for whatever provocation? This is outrightly condemnable. Mbaka should be exerting his energy to condemn the Owo killing. Let me tell you something. How many of these politicians, including Peter Obi, how many of them have categorically condemned the our bomb shooting? How many of them have visited the church? How many of them have gone? You see, our politicians are a terrible breed. Our politicians are a terrible breed. I think they put their political ambition first before the interests of the masses. A good example is Atiku, who tweeted in condemnation of the killing of is it Deborah, and seeing the reaction from the north to be in disconsonance with his tweet, he ordered that the tweet should be pulled down. So we are in a terrible situation, and the likes of Mbaka as just a simple sample or a simple epitome, just a minute epitome of what we have going on today. We are going to see the worst of it. Wait until the real money start flowing. You will see a lot of church, a lot of pastors coming out to condemn. Uh, thank God, the Redeemed Christian Church will be silent now. You could see in the last vote, the Redeemed Christian Church was very active in the politics, owing to the fact that one of their members is the vice. Now that the vice didn't emerge as I remember in those days, one of my friend was my childhood friend is a pastor in one of the churches in one of the places in Nigeria. He came here and all effort to make him see that their decision is wrong, prove abortive. He started making comments like, God can use anybody to solve the problem. I said, okay, because now God can use anybody. Today, Osibanjo has spent 8 years with no single impact whatsoever, whether administratively, politically, even for the reason why he was chosen as a hand of Christianity in Nigeria. It still didn't help in killing that. No time has Christianity been persecuted more than when we have a, a pastor in the hands of our affairs. Because my friend said that Goodluck Jonathan is not a man, it's not a child of God. Fine. Now that we have a child of God in power, no time that Christians have been killed more than in time of this. So you find that these people that project themselves as men of God are actually using the title or the personality of church to gain recognition for the purpose of getting money. They either get the money from tithe and offering, from sow seed. Now, the quickest way to get a couple of millions of naira is by making the right statement in politics to get the right audience so that people can appreciate you for condemning or bringing down an opponent. I think that's what Mbaka is doing. Mbaka probably would have been settled handsomely for aiding to bring Jonathan down in the past. So he think that another opportunity has also arisen. Perhaps if he does the same thing again, he's going to get the audience or recognition of either Atiku camp or Tinubu camp to give him the same type of money he made when he made that viral video that aided in bringing Jonathan down. So I think that's what Mbaka represents. Is just a money hustler, somebody who is looking for money. I still don't think he has learned his lesson. Just think he does because I understand today that his members were protesting and reacting. That leads me also to say something. Poverty and hunger can be a very retrogressive tool that puts the masses into the psychological beckoning of these politicians and pastors and money doublers and every evil being that we have.
Mm.
When people are hungry, they become susceptible, they become vulnerable to these pastor antics. You, if you have your, because one thing that these men of God do is to obliterate your ability to be rational. Because if somebody is rational, a man of God will not ask you to go and eat grass and you'll be eating grass. Or a man of God will not tell you to lie down and you'll be stepping on you. Or a man of God will not tell you, say, Nekpe, remove your pants. I'm going to bless your pants for you. Or a man of God will not say, come, let me dip hand into your vagina so you become pregnant. Or stay, let me make love to you. Because these are the handiwork of men of God over the years that have stolen the
Mr.
ability for the
Raka,
common.
you don't use such language here, okay?
No problem. Thank you. I'm sorry. Sometimes I just so sorry about that. Let me take that back. But you see, these men of God have grown in population and they have gotten a lot of members. And by their antics, they have depleted the ability for the common Nigerians who describe themselves as Christian to reason rationally. And this irrationality of many Christians also dovetail into our ability to make rational decisions in politics. Who are those? Because it is easy for Muslims to be in the mosque and be in one voice. When Muslims discuss politics and end their politics in the mosque, they come up with one voice. They will never argue, they will never quarrel. But we in the church, a pastor dare not say, vote for this person. There's going to be quarrel in that church. It's okay that people should have a mind of their own. But when it comes to their own aspect, which is tithes, giving of tithes, offering, sowing of seed, that one, they make sure that everybody agrees in one voice. So we have, because when I saw the crowd in adoration ministry, the crowd today that
The church leader can definitely influence the votes of the masses.
it's not as easy as you see it. Oh. It's not as easy as you see it. It's not as easy as the church pastor coming to say, all of you vote this side. Because the church is the only place you see many people with over sabi. This one thinks he knows, that one thinks he knows.
But
It's not.
the pastor can influence the votes of the members. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, but he can, but not wholesomely. Yeah, not wholesomely. So, like as I was saying, the crowd I saw in adoration ministry today clearly showed the depth at which the mind of Nigerians have been depleted by these so-called men of God. Somebody once said that the hardest person to liberate or to free is a man that doesn't want to be freed. I remember watching, there's a movie I watched, Escape from Sobibor. I don't know if you have watched that movie. It's an old movie, Escape from Sobibor. These are people who are watching persecution. They see people being killed. In fact, you can be killed today, you can be killed tomorrow. The time you are going to leave, there is no, they can shoot you at will. Nothing happens. They just pick you and go. And when they were eventually freed, some people stayed behind. Some people didn't want to run because they've grown used to the life that they are in. That is what is happening to Nigerians. Some people have grown used to their papa and mama and church, our father in the Lord. People are now more focused on their father in the Lord than the Lord and Savior that in the first place brought about Christianity or the church in the first place. Women in particular. My father in the Lord. My father in the Lord. My father in the Lord, pray for me. The man of God is supposed to be an intermediary between the congregants and God. But now the pastor have taken the role of God and have taken the role of Jesus. So if I be a man of God, that's the new one now. Once they tell you, if I be a man of God, and many times they vow that if I be a man of God, Tunde Bakare once said that Buhari is number 15 and yours truly is number 16. The same man will still go to the church and still meet the same number of church that he lied to. Why is that so? The man told you that God revealed to him that he's going to be the next president. Now, he wasn't even second, he wasn't even third, he wasn't even fourth. He's still going to go back. They showed him now, the members of the church were welcoming him in great ecstatic jubilation. So our Christian community have been robbed of the ability to think. So in fact, to open a church today, your first job is to take out the rational thinking of your members. Because if they have rationality, they will. So if they don't have rationality, They will not ask questions. So, and that's what I saw in adoration ministry. Some very old, raggedy women with some mighty, heavyweight Bible with heavy scarf. Oh my goodness. It's a pity, honestly. It's a pity. It is a pity that this is what Christianity has done. Christianity to me now is like nobody hear me. Christianity today is more or less to me like it's not like a big stage where we have a performer and an audience. The pastor is the stand-up comedian, the congregants are the audience, and they clap.
Mm.
Woo, 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 woo. Pastor. Mm. Amen. I see that woman that has been looking for a child for the next 6 months. This year shall be your year. If I be a man of God, you will receive it in Jesus' name. Amen. That
Mr.
man that your car, that your car that you have been looking for, it is a taboo that a man of this God. Do you trust me? If I be a man of God, by this time next year, you shall be driving 3 cars in the mighty name of the Amen. Next year we come, they'll pray the same prayer for you again. Another year will come, they'll pray the same prayer for you again. You can imagine the stupidity. I think today's Christianity in Nigeria is harvesting stupidity.
It has
They are, they,
become.
they, they are harvesting stupidity and they are feeding it to their members. You feed a lot of people with stupidity. If and you see some kind of stupid thing. They will lay hands on you, give you things to eat, ask you to do things. I will
Yes.
strongly believe that if you go to church today, do not allow contact with you and your pastor. These men are now diabolic. They are now diabolic. By share contact with you, they transmit some. I am not a spiritualist. I don't believe in witches and wizards, but the level at which they render some of their congregants so stupid can only take some form of diabolic means to render such massive audience to become very stupid. You
I
can
don't
see
know how,
people.
I don't know how they manage to brainwash their members. The
It's
way some of
it's
people are
pure
so committed.
psychology. Let me tell you how they brainwash. Let me tell you how they brainwash people. Now, Nekpe, if you have a problem, let's say your problem is looking for a child, and you have tried every rational means to get a child,
Mm.
and you just in our society, if a woman does not have a child, she becomes a mockery of the society. People look
Yeah.
down on her. So the shame around it, the shame around your situation wants to push you to get every means possible. It's like a drowning man. If they tell you that this person has a solution, you want to run there.
Mm.
This person has a solution, you want to run there. They don't have a solution for you. They absolutely don't have a solution. They don't have any powers whatsoever. No power at all. But in your mind you feel there's no loss in believing. So you just have to believe. And in saying that you want to just believe, they hook you in. Once you are hooked in, then that is when they start milking you. Go and bring your money, go and sell your car, go and sell your house. Eventually, you do all these things, you still end up with nothing. And if it is the husband that is the problem, they probably ask you to go and make love with someone and get a child and keep it a secret. And you think all this idea that women are now running DNA. People are now conducting DNA and discovering that the children that they've called sons and daughters for many years are no longer their children. You think all these things are not orchestrated by society? How does a woman keep a secret of having 3 children for many years from the husband? It must take a unique type of evil. But that's not what we are talking about. We are talking about Pastor Father Mbaka and I'm going through all these things because the way men of God has evolved. Men of God has evolved from the natural responsibility of becoming intermediaries between their followers and God to taking the place of God. Today's Christian population no longer look up to God. they now look up to their man of God, Papa, Mama, my father in the Lord, my father. I know a man of God. How many people now talk about God? How many people now actually go into the prayer, into their personal prayer? In those days, men of God taught us how to go on your knees and pray. You and God. Now, if the man of God does not lay hand on you, you don't believe you have prayed. So men of God like that, after having so many followers that are now like zombies to them, begins to spark off an air of dominance, an air of inexplicable high relevance. And when that occurs, they want more. They want more. If you see, in fact, there's so much to talk. I wish we're actually talking about.
What, Mr. Raka? Over these years, I don't see the government, even the masses, you know, giving attention to the atrocity of the churches, pastors in the
No, that is
country.
because, you are right. That is because if God, let's say Buhari today decides to, was it not in this Buhari regime that they said, okay, if a man of God serves after 4 years, you should hand over to the board of trustees. Every church should create board of trustees. The Christian community went haywire. You get me? The Christian community went haywire. So the truth is that it's just that we have a system of government that is not fair. Because if a system of government is adjudged or seen to be fair, because truly, the church needs to be regulated.
Regulated,
The
exactly.
churches,
I've been
the
saying
churches
that,
need
the church has been
the
left
churches, the
alone to
churches have
commit
been given too much
atrocities.
freedom. The
Yeah.
churches have been given too much freedom, and they are abusing it. They are not only abusing it, they are causing untold atrocities on their members. Let me tell you, was it not Pastor Onmotefefiabi, the Warri? A man opened a church in less than 1 year. That space in Warri is a very large space. In such a short time, the man was able to open church, and the crowd on Sundays, if people are open that, if people are closing from that church, you cannot contend the type of hold up they cause. And then a young woman went there and missed and lost and loses her children. Who her child, loses her child, a child she left in the Sunday school, right? Either way, the church, the premises, all of a sudden, the woman is like alone. Nobody's taking a fight for her because the pastors have the money to buy the police. Pastors have the money to buy themselves out of any situation. You can't begin to imagine the humongous money that churches make every week. I can give you an example. Like here in Jos, there's the
And
Living
up
Faith.
to date, that woman couldn't find a child, right?
Yeah, up to tomorrow, that case, as far as concerned, that child is dead. As far as that the child is dead, you understand me? But I can't make any conclusion because I don't know. I have not taken time to actually study that case very well. But I can tell that in Jos here, Living Faith, on Sunday, the bullion van comes to pick money from offering and tithes to go to bank till tomorrow. Because they have four services in the main 4 services. And the hall is built to pick 5,000 people worshiping at a time. So if you have 4 services, that is I'm just making a rough calculation for you. For 5,000, that is 20,000 every Sunday, right? We're not talking about Monday service, Wednesday service. We're talking about just Sunday. Let's say each person is giving, that's 20,000. Let's say each person is giving 10 naira as offering, just 10 naira. You get me? That's 400,000. 400,000. But of course, you know that there are people who give 150 naira. So which means on a Sunday service alone, we are talking about 20 million, 30 million in offering. So these people are making real big money. And what are they using this money for? The missionaries that brought Christianity to Nigeria, these missionaries sacrificed themselves. They sacrificed their pleasure for the good of you and me. While sacrificing their pleasures, They brought free schools for us, where we didn't pay for books, we didn't pay for uniforms, we didn't pay for tuition fee. All we needed to do was just to take our bath and go to school. And today, they've added this same Christianity that brought these good things to us. What are they doing? We have we have beneficiaries of missionaries building schools that the ordinary man can't go. The schools that when they were ordinary attended and became men of God or general overseer, now building schools that the same people that they are meant to liberate can't go. A school in Living Faith in Josia is about 100,000 naira, if not more than. Canaan University, I think then the last time I know it was 2.4 million naira. I don't know how much it is now. How do you expect an ordinary man like me to send to where am I going to get 2.4 million naira to send my boy to a school like that? What you get from goodwill, you also go for goodwill. That's the point I'm making. So the concentration of churches today is about money, money, money. And I think the likes of Mbaka has become so drowned in it that he can't control himself. And in his desperate quest to make money like his contemporaries, he's making a fool of himself. That is what this thing is all about.
Hmm. I think it is time for the government to be regulating churches. More
No, the church needs to regulate. And some of the suggestions I will make. One, there should be minimal contact between men of God and their followers. Very, very minimal contact. Because a lot of these men of God have become so diabolic. Very, very diabolic. Very, very There's one church here, church, I won't name the name of the church. In less than 1 year, he already has about 2 churches. In less than 2 years, he has a big church with buses, about 10 buses, about thousands of followers. Ah, from nobody's asking questions. Where did he start from? This is a man that was selling gari in the market. He was selling gari in the market.
how do you
Measure
re-
gari, give me two. Yes.
how do you generate revenue from your
All of a
churches?
sudden that you are now buying that large expanse of land, building a gigantic auditorium, and then getting those vehicles. Where? How? Now the level to ask that questions are that mind that forms to ask those type of questions are no longer in the minds of Christianity in Nigeria, which is the same reason why in our polity today, people don't ask questions. People don't ask questions. Will
No,
this man? Will,
like the way we operate in the West, you cannot be making money without declaring your source of income to the government. So, and
yes,
your
yes.
source of income should be legitimate. If it's not legitimate, then you can be sued. You have
Even
to
the church,
face the justice.
even if the church will not be taxed, even since actually there's a law that says you cannot tax donations and gifts. But even if the church will not be taxed, they should be explaining how they generate their money and what the money is used for. They should regulate those monies because it is this type of money that you can't imagine the type of wealth, stupendous wealth. When I say stupendous wealth, and yet we have this wealth, we cannot support a political candidate that will protect the interest of Nigerians, the interest of Christians in Nigeria.
Right now in Nigeria, there are two methods that people believe that they can become rich overnight. One, becoming a politician or becoming a pastor. So those
Of
are
course,
the
of course.
two ways that people can get rich overnight. And the churches are not being regulated. Their source of income are not being regulated. And the churches are not declaring their income. They don't pay taxes. And they make money illegally and get rich buying private jets everywhere. And nobody's regulating their source of income. So I think
Okay.
this area should be well
Imagine,
regulated
yeah,
in
you are
Nigeria.
right. Imagine your brother, Pastor Apostle Suleiman. He has only one church in Auchi. He has a private jet. He's stupendously rich. If within just Auchi alone, he can be making that kind of money to afford a private jet. Imagine Redeemed Christian Church that has branches in every nook and crannies in forget it. They will always demand, they will always deny it. What were you before you became pastor? What money, what was your financial statement before you became a pastor? What was your financial status before you make a pastor? And what's your financial status now? And the annoying thing about this thing is that members will be in that church that will be taking their hard-earned money from akara. People who are frying akara will still take their hard-earned money and go and give these men of God. And when it is time for them to get assistance from these same churches, they'll start going through your file to see how much you have been contributing in tithes and offering before they give you. And what they'll give you will not even be up to what you have been paid in tithe and offering. Why don't the church set up businessmen? Why don't the church provide a business counseling where you can actually set up
Mr.
business
Uraka,
people that can,
when the
yeah,
missionaries came to Nigeria, like what you just said earlier, when they came, they brought churches, they brought a school. So school at that time was inside most
was
of the
free.
schools. No, most of the schools were inside the churches. That is why some
Yeah,
churches in Nigeria at that time, the school would be built in the compound of the church. I grew
yeah,
up in the school compound where there was a church built by colonial missionaries at that time during the colonial era, and the churches, the schools were inside the church compounds at that time. So right
yeah.
now in Nigeria, these modern pastors in Nigeria have changed the narratives of these schools. They are now building schools for only for the rich, and they are charging exorbitantly for those schools. Of which those that brought this school to us and churches to us, they were offering school services for free attached to the
Yeah.
churches. So that is just the difference. These people are exploiting, using the name of the Bible to exploit citizens, and the government is
Have
not
you
doing
met?
anything
Have
to
you met?
regulate
Have
them.
you met? Yeah. Have you met any overzealous church member? Have you met anyone? If you have, because I have met many. If you have met any overzealous church members, you will see how much damage these men of God have done to these people. They completely wash out any sense of imagination or reasoning from these adherents. They
Yes.
wash them out. So trying to even talk them into reality or trying to talk them into having sense becomes very, very difficult. Extremely difficult. If today, let's say they catch Pastor Yedepo, the general overseer of Winners Chapel. Let's say they catch him in one outrageous act. I will tell you that the members will be the first to say, it's not the first, it's not the first. We are just saying, just have a clear mind to determine what is good and what is bad. Even if there must be a solution or repair, at least you identify what is good, what is bad. When a man of God is misleading you to pull off your panties in order to gain access to your private part, at least you have a sense that this thing is not biblical. I've seen a church. Okay, let me not exaggerate. I've seen a video where a man of God dipped his body in a drum filled with water and was fetching the water for his members to drink. If that is a diabolic process, do you know what it means to be drinking water washed from the body of another man to drink? There's a diabolic connection. This is no longer Christianity. This is pure diabolism hidden under the emblem of Christianity in Nigeria. People are now practicing diabolism under the umbrella of Christianity, and this has to stop because government needs to regulate it. Government needs to regulate it by enforcing pastors to declare their finances and regulate minimal contact between, like all this idea of laying of hands, blowing you breeze. How can a man just wave his hand and the force of his hand will be throwing people to fall down? There seems to be a mutual collaboration between audience, between the congregation and the man of God. The man of God is acting, the congregation is acting. I have been, let me, I've been in a church trying to get this actual experience of power of God, and they called us out to come and get Spirit of God. And we formed a line. I should be around number 17 or 18. When the man of God say, receive, that one will just fall on the ground. In my mind, I was saying, so when it comes to my turn, so me too, I go fall like this. Now, wow, it will be a funny experience. And the people kept falling, kept falling. Even my sister who was in front of me, they touched her too. She fell down. I said, eh? When she was passing me to go and take her seat, I was watching her say, so my sister now has experienced Holy Spirit power. When it came to my turn, the man lay hand on my head. I was waiting to fall. I not grief fall. I not fit fall. The man go dey shake my head, shake my head, shake my head, shake my head. I not fit fall. I not see anything. God, I said, God, they push me. They say, no, don't push me. Let me fall. Let spirit push me. This is not spirit pushing me. You are the one pushing me.
Mr. Raka, please.
You are the one pushing me. So don't push me to fall. When the whole thing was becoming fun, because my mother was in the church, and I know that if I don't fall, my problem I get for her house, my mother will say, devil don't possess me. So in order to please my mom, I just fall. Now we start my fall. I don't even fall like others. I just fall, put one knee for ground. I went back. It's all a charade. It's all charade. It's all just a joke.
Oh my God! See, this is just like a drama in the churches in Nigeria.
It's a joke. It's a plan. Make I drink small water,
People just wake up in the morning and go to the church to play some drama and come back home. They say they went to worship.
So Mbaka is just one of many. There are many of Mbakas in our churches. Many. Mbaka's excesses is only happening in the political arena. If they give forum for members of churches to come and give their experience that they've had in different churches, you'll be amazed at the revelations that you see from the atrocities committed by some of the most popular pastors that you think are innocent. Because in truth, there's no such thing as if I be a man of God, the God spoke to me. Where God spoke to you? How did God speak to you? How did God? Magnus Oraka, tomorrow in church, tell my members, tell my children that they should contribute 100 naira to 100,000 to you. Was that how God? You see, it's all a charade. Because from the beginning, they first take away your rationality. I went to a church where they said for you to be a member, you have to learn how to speak in tongue. You have to study the Bible. We studied Bible. Then they taught us about offering. Then the last one was receiving the baptism of the Holy Spirit and the Holy Ghost. And then the manifestation is that you'll be speaking in tongue. I think we were about 16 or so. We started praying. Small time, you see, people don't start. Rema Sandarabo, Rema San. Me come out, they pray. Lord, give me spirit of speaking in tongue. Lord, help me. I want to speak in tongue. Lord, give me. I know they speak in tongue. They do. We don't remain 7. Do. We don't remain 6. Do. We can't remain 5. I still there among the 5. It can't reach where we be 3. I can't they pray. I say, I go carry last for this thing. If they continue like this, now let me go remain for this thing. So better I just speak tongue. And I've never spoken in tongue one day. I don't know how it is. So now I can't they form. I can't go talk. So you get me? I can't they talk anything. Charcoal, white rice, fura, they don't know anything. Just they talk kuli and granite. Just talk anything before they allow me go.
Let me see.
Free your mind.
Some Christians are attacking you here, Mr. Raka. You cannot be saying that about churches why you won't get at least one criticism. Let me check the comments.
No, of course. I know. I'm used to it. So what is this that these men of God, they hack your mind. They hack you into your emotions. They hack into your mind, and once you agree that there is solace or there's possibility of solution in that place, do you know why people are leaving one church to the other? They go to the church, because when you go to this church today, suddenly you discover that this man, you are wasting your time here. They tell you, come to my church. Oh, God is really using that man to save many souls. You go to there again. You spend 2 years. You realize it's the same experience you had in the other church. You go to now, God is using this man. Look, the first man of God is you yourself. The first person that can actually pray for yourself to leave that place is you. And I've had the experience. I've actually found myself in a tight corner where I actually prayed to God, say, God, if you can make this thing for me, I will dedicate my life to you. God save me, but after God see me, I can't leave God again. I go,
Mr. Aranga,
I'm
please
trying.
let's dive into Nigerian politics and forget about these churches. However, we are still advocating that churches should be regulated in Nigeria because the atrocities are just too much these days, too obvious.
No. The churches have become something else.
Yes,
The
too much.
churches,
Yes,
they
too much.
become wayward.
It has become a source of income. That to get rich in Nigeria is to become a good pastor. A good pastor means that you have to be rich. And many people, especially the younger generation, are all working, so hard to become pastors. I'm telling you, that is what is going on now. Some people just have
Yeah,
the
I'm
dream
even
of
thinking.
becoming rich.
Yeah, I'm even thinking that the penalties given to Father Mbaka are not stringent enough, are not stiff enough. Just asking people not to go to his church, it makes no big. It's not a big deal
Who
because
ask people?
the
No,
man.
is it the authority? Is it the
Eh?
authority? Is it the government that is asking him? It's just the
No.
masses
The
that
head of
responded.
Catholic Church, the head, it is the head of the Catholic Church in the state. Now, at one point, the Mbaka himself is beginning to think that he has more power than the head of the Catholic Church. Because
Mm.
he's one of the men of God that and you see, one thing with these men of God is that when these people come to your church, they are not coming to your church because they look you. You are doing the damage, you are doing the job for them. So they are just coming to appreciate you. You are doing the damage for them to campaign against your own in their favor. So they are just coming there to appreciate you. Buhari was in your church just to appreciate you. That what's his name? Gandola, Kano State Governor, was in your church just to appreciate you for say something against Kano State Governor today and see they will not pick you.
You know,
Because you know that if you say something against your own, they will not arrest you. But if you say something, in fact, I,
Father
I beg.
Mbaka is being partisan, and as a father, he's supposed to keep, himself between that boundary. He's going too far, involving himself in politics. He's being partisan. That's just it. So, Mr. Raka, let's dive into the political discussion of today. So, according to what you told me, was yesterday that they can still change their running mates. So, are
Yeah, of
we
course.
getting any change from the side of Peter Obi?
Of course. That one I can categorically tell you that Peter Obi's running mate, Doyin Okupe, is just they call it a placeholder. Just like if
Okay.
you go to a party and you see an empty chair, you just keep
Mm,
your cap or Bible or
mm,
handkerchief just to hold it. So that if somebody else comes, somebody is coming. So I think that's what Doyin Okupe is serving, because if you know that there are talks of a possible merger between Labour Party and the NNPP that is being controlled by Kwankwaso. So
mm,
before that, let's do, because for now, I'm also aware that the reason why they've not finally announced the merger yet is because they still not come to terms as to who will be the flag bearer and who will be the vice. Kwankwaso is suggesting that he wants to be the the flag bearer while Peter Obi becomes the vice. So we are yet to see how they have resolved. I think before we came on studio, I saw where they said it's like Kwankwaso have agreed to be vice, but I'm not sure yet. These are mere speculation. But I think if at all there will be a merger, for me
mm,
right now, Peter Obi has more clout and crowd than Kwankwaso. Kwankwaso only have popularity in Kano. So if Peter Obi will be just using Kwankwaso just to dig into Kano vote, even though I think even at that it's still going to be
mm,
difficult. But well, anything can happen. But if you make Kwankwaso if you make Kwankwaso as president and Peter vice, of
mm,
course the Southeast will not vote for it.
mm.
Southeast will not vote. In fact, they won't even come out to vote. Sir.
Let him be the vice so that Peter Obi will be the president.
But that's one thing again. We spoke in your other program that one thing with the southern politicians is that sometimes they don't want to come to terms with the political arrogance of the north. It is unthinkable for the north to see themselves being vice to the south. They are not like us who jubilate and celebrate vice president. To them, vice president is nothing. Vice president is absolutely nothing. They're not like
Well,
us. The other day, I saw videos of boys celebrating Okoa as vice. Too. They're not vice yet, too. They're already celebrating. I
Okowa
don't
is
think
not
any
fit as vice for
I
PDP.
don't think any Hausa man will throw a party for mere nomination as vice. I don't think any Hausa, even the shoe shiner, will not celebrate it. Only in the south, because we have been conditioned to be politically inferior to the northerners. I'm telling you, there's no way a northerner will celebrate vice to it's just like one northern now. Not Tinubu picked a northerner. I can tell you that in the house of that northerner, they didn't celebrate. Celebrate what? What is vice? What is vice? To them, it is first or nothing. It is either first or nothing.
Hmm, exactly.
So we need to, like in the other program I said, that we need to establish some sort of political arrogance in the south. That's why when
So,
you see when people are abusing Wike, people are saying Wike is too proud. I say, what are you saying? But that's exactly what you need in Nigerian politics. You have
what
to
do
be
you
proud.
expect from PDP? We still expecting PDP to change the running mates?
It's very like nobody says they can't change until before election they can change. Before the
I don't
final
think
campaign
PDP
starts.
will change. I don't think
Yeah,
PDP will
they
change.
will not change, but nobody says they can't change. It's
They have
only
not.
when the campaign. It's only when the campaign starts. When they start the campaign. From the date of the campaign, you can't change.
Mhm. But I think with what is going on right now, I don't think PDP will change running mates. But
I don't really think. I think PDP has made their final
mm,
arrangement. I think and they are trying to tell Nigerians that they are prepared and they are organized.
mm, mm.
That's
I,
what they are trying. But I foresee a joker in. I foresee because for a very long time now, Wike has been silent. We don't know exactly what that man. That man, that man is a loose cannon. Is a loose big now loose dog. That man will come up one day now scatter everything.
yeah, he has been
So,
mute.
but yeah. So, but if PDP can put Wike on a leash, if
Mm,
Wike can support them, that's an advantage. But with what they've done to Wike by betraying him at the primaries and not choosing him as vice, so I don't know what they have promised him because in politics is give and take. You must give something, and so I don't know what they have promised him. But if he feels betrayed, it's not like Amechi that you betray now, you go and keep quiet. Because as far as I'm concerned, they not have used Amechi and they've dumped him. She just goes
I don't think
somewhere and
I don't think PDP will play with Wike in this upcoming election, knowing fully well that Wike can influence votes in the South region. So
absolutely.
there must be a compensation. There must be an agreement between them and Wike. Trust me, they will just leave.
Maybe they'll give him secretary to the
Yeah,
federation or something like
there
that.
must be a negotiation going on right now because Wike is a very strong candidate, PDP candidate in the South region. So with that, we should be expecting Wike to come out, and everybody is expecting Wike to endorse article so that this will
No, he
balance.
will, he will, he
Yes.
will endorse the article, but I don't know exactly what arrangement they have had because they must have told him, okay, if I become president, this is. But I'm sure this is what I'm going to give you. But I'm sure Wike is not happy with Okoa. I'm sure
Probably.
Wike is not happy with Okoa. That was a blatant betrayal. The
Mm,
betrayal is too deep. So it all depends on whether Wike will take it as a political exercise, be matured about it, and decide to play party politics, or decide to also look for a way to revenge. Because we have a Tambuwal that betrayed him, and we have an Okwa that betrayed him. And I'm sure that when Atiku becomes president, he's going to give Tambuwal a stronger position than Wike. Just watch.
mm. Because Tambuwa stepped down for article. Definitely,
Yeah.
he's expecting something. So we are still expecting Wiki to endorse article. Everybody is looking forward to that day. when Wike will come out and say, yes, I endorsed Atiku, I'm going to campaign for him, blah, blah, blah. All those things we are still expecting from Wike. I know that he's
Yeah.
angry now, and he's very quiet since all these days.
Actually, for me, in the last election, I voted for Atiku. I don't have anything. I voted for Atiku. I actually
Mr.
campaigned for
Oraka, in
Atiku.
Canada here, you don't tell people who you voted for. You keep it within yourself because it can be controversial. In Canada, I've
No,
voted
I
so
said
many.
in the last time. I didn't say I'm going to vote for him. I said the last time I voted for him, but
I'm just
it is
saying,
not the
I
same.
understand. I understand in
It's
Nigeria,
not.
people
I don't
can.
have the same feeling again.
I understand that. I'm just saying that in the Western world, they will ask you to vote for someone, but privately, you don't go outside and be exaggerating about who you voted for or disclosing it to the public because it can
In the
make.
case of APC,
Mm.
they are actually playing with the sentiments of Nigeria by trying to attempt. For a very since 1999, we have not tried Muslim or Christian ticket. We have not. Now that is a gamble that the APC wants to try. But I can assure you that if they try that, it's going to send a very wrong message to the Christian community in Nigeria. To the Christian community in Nigeria, not at a time when Nigeria is divided on the fault line of religious divide and tribal divide. So it will be like touching a very sensitive nerve of the Christian community in Nigeria. But let's see. Who knows? You can just see that it may just be possible that Nigeria will accept a Muslim candidacy from APC. But one thing I do know for sure that the North will never subscribe to a Christian candidate. So if they wouldn't subscribe to that, why should we subscribe to that? That's just my perspective to this.
If they don't subscribe, doesn't mean that the SAT will not subscribe to Muslim ticket. So we cannot use anything to reward anything, whatever. I'm just saying it.
I
We
know,
can't
I
use
know, I know, but
evil
that's but
to reward evil. That is what I'm trying to say. So if, for
you
instance,
don't start because my fear is this: if you start a Muslim ticket today and it stays,
hmm,
you might just be surprised that you have paved way for a permanent Muslim ticket in Nigeria. Because I know the North, they test the waters and see what the reaction will be like. And for what it is worth, they will still use the same. What was that woman that was saying that what they are saying that Tinubu's wife is a pastor, and they put his picture and the wife picture with the redeem. Is it redeem or deeper life? Is it the wife that is going to rule Nigeria? What is it? I know that in the Yoruba culture, everybody is free to practice his own religion. So um, anyway,
um,
is
Mr.
a theater
Raka,
of comedy.
Mr. Raka, don't you think that
Yeah,
the Yoruba Muslim, is a little bit different from the Hausa Fulani Muslim? What do you
they
think?
are very different. They are very different. Well, for what it is, what it is Yoruba Muslim that are thinking that they are the same thing with the Northern Muslim, but the Northern Muslim does not like to think they are the same thing with the Yoruba Muslim. I told you in one of your program that the Hausa Muslim will never allow a Yoruba Muslim to head a church, to head a mosque in the north. It's not possible. They will not agree.
Mm,
But a northern Muslim can head a mosque in the Yoruba land.
yes.
So yeah, it's a one-way thing. It's a kind of self-imposed delusion. They not the Yoruba Muslim actually think they are in one religious accord with the Muslim in the north. But the Muslim in the north only sees their Muslim counterparts in the west as a pathway to gain access to the political interests of the north in the southwest. That is what
Yes.
it is all about.
All right. So this woman, she has been very vocal. Ayisha Yusuf. According to what we saw on social media, I'm not sure, that she is supporting Peter Obi. Peter Obi,
No,
she's supporting Peter Obi.
Aisha Yusuf has been
Mm,
a very vocal,
mm,
detribalized,
mm.
non-nepotistic female. In fact, one of the most vibrant ladies that is
Yeah,
fearless, and I like her for that.
I
Uh,
like her too. It's wonderful.
the truth is that you see, Nigeria can actually work. Honestly, Nigeria can work. It is we that are refusing it to work. Nigeria is not the only country with diverse cultural system or multilingual cultural system. Nigeria is not the only country. We have other countries with different languages and tribes and religion coexisting in peace. It is just that there are a few people who are refusing that Nigeria should operate on a fair pedestal where if you eat, somebody else should eat. Yesterday, I was talking with a friend, a gentleman, and I asked him a simple question. I said, Yorubas have ruled for 8 years, and they've also been vice president for another 8 years. Don't you think they should allow somebody else to rule? And he said, this was his exact response to me, that Obasanjo, who ruled, was not endorsed by the Yorubas. So I said, so does it mean that 8 years now is in vain? Because people didn't endorse it, so we should not attach that 8 years to the Yoruba people. Makes no sense. If Nigerians can actually apply the principle of, well, I have, let it go round. It's like there's a cake on the table, and some people are choosing to have a Fulani share. Not, this is no longer a lion share, a Fulani share. Whereas we are struggling to just have crumbs. And we say it's okay, this is one Nigeria. For purpose of fairness,
Mm.
Atiku should not be contesting. In the interest of fairness, Atiku should not be contesting. Knowing that your fellow Fulani brother just ruled 8 years and then you want to take over. So you have 16 years of Fulani rule. What does that say in the mind of an average Fulani man on the street?
Oh, Mr. Raka, I will interrupt you. The certain leaders who voted for him, you should first criticize those people first. You know, let them
Absolutely.
voted for.
But
Without them
but I
voting
did.
for him, I don't think he would have emerged as the candidate
Yes,
today.
agreed. 100% agreed. Agreed. Totally agree. Look at what played out in the PDP. This thing. I analyzed it for you the last time. Assuming Udom Emmanuel stepped down, that's 38. Add it to Wike's vote. The other Igbo man, add is 18. Okowa and Okowa and those two people that Delta State and those states, take
Mm,
out that vote from Atiku's vote and add it to Wike's own. The result will be different.
exactly.
But it's like we enjoy, we are the ones that we put ourselves in a state of disadvantage and hand over the advantage to the North. When the North are now ruling, we are the same people who cry that, we are being marginalized, we are being oppressed. When every of our action is wired and fine-tuned for the North to gain access to us. I was telling the man yesterday, the man so believed that Tinubu will win. I told him, I said, look, Atiku will win. With the way things are, Atiku will win, except the environment changes tomorrow and another analysis will come. Because Tinubu and Peter Obi will share the votes in the South. The South that doesn't have the vote in the first place will share it. So statistics as it is now favors Atiku. But if you add the rigging machinery of APC, well, you might say, okay, they too they have a chance. But based on normal rigging, on normal voting standard, statistics will favors this thing now. Well, we are yet to see whether Peter Obi's social media popularity and also local popularity, because the whether the social media popularity is translating to on-ground popularity, and how that on-ground popularity can access in truth people's vote. Then we can begin to factor him into the possibility. But for now, the way things are, in my own opinion, I will put Atiku first, Tinubu second, and then Peter Obi third.
I think Peter Obi will be able to gather more followers if he's consistent he will end up winning the presidency.
That's
If
why I
he
say for
and
now,
he
I'm being
should
realistic.
camping from one political party to another. If he can be consistent, even though he didn't make it for this election, I think next election many Nigerians will vote for him. But he needs to
Uh,
be consistent.
so for now, it is a hard. It for now, it's a hard call to call. But nobody should write Peter Obi out. Don't write him out. That's all I'm saying.
We're just saying that in case he didn't make it, but I think that Peter Obi is going to shape this upcoming election so well because it's like a political revolution going on right now. With what that young guy
Yeah.
told us yesterday, you know that young guy that your son called to join the program?
Uh,
Oh yeah, it shows that yes, the young people, the younger generation are ready for
that's what
that.
I'm saying.
For
For now,
now, mm,
I want to wait until I see some form of physical translation from the popularity to act when campaign starts. You'll be seeing the crowd now. When campaign starts, when you see the crowd, then you know that yes, you cannot factor in. But you see, don't forget what the things that Peter B appeals to the intellectual society of Nigeria. The illiterates amongst us and the poverty-stricken ones among us don't know what is percentages and non-percentages. These are the ones the politicians will buy with their money. And these are the ones that will influence the vote of the old politicians that we're already used to. Now, Peter B does not have that link with the villager who does not read and write, who does not have access to social media. So these things, that's why I say for now, I'm just trying to keep my hopes at a minimal level. Let me see how they're able to translate this popularity to those who have no access to social media and those who don't, the illiterate one and the common man that fries akara. Let's see.
if many Igbos can support Peter Obi, Igbo people are very resourceful and they can even support with some resources to ensure that this campaign is well they able to create structures. The structures are very important in Nigeria, mostly in an election like this. So if you can create more structures, I think it will go a long way in this
And
upcoming
yeah,
election.
yeah, and that reminds me. You see, we keep talking about structure. I think we should talk about this structure now. Let's talk about structure. What is structure? What is structure? If we are going to talk about structure, let's talk about those we presume already have structure.
Mm,
PDP and APC. By
mm.
structure, you mean they have secretariats everywhere in the states,
Not just
right?
secretariat. You know what we mean
They
by
have
structure.
secretariat. No, I'm saying one of them. I'm just counting one. They have secretariats, right?
Mm,
And they have representation in all the states, and they have ample ample representation in the polity of Nigeria. Let's say in the Senate, House of
mhm,
Reps,
mm,
state governors, and all of that. Have you? Fine. Is
mhm.
that not the structure? Fine.
Yes.
But these people, the buildings, the senators, the governors, they are not the ones who are going to vote. It is people.
I know, but
And
they
I
can also
and I
influence.
told you and I told you that look, I told that there's no structure that is stronger than conviction. There's no structure that is stronger than conviction. When in Egypt, was it not Egypt? They did one demonstration where youth came up and removed the ruling. The youth came and well, I don't want to say something. So when people are driven by a conviction,
Hmm.
there's no structure that is stronger than that. No structure
It's
whatsoever.
like a political revolution that
Yes,
people, yes,
I don't
that
want to use the word I don't want to use the word revolution because revolution is hard. But if you must use it, when people are driven by a revolution, at that point in time, the only structure that is driving them is in here. It's conviction. You get me? Nobody wants to know whether my sister, do you know what it means for people to feed today now? People to feed. You're not in a you are in abroad. You know how people are disturbing you to send money. I know somebody who said he's afraid to pick calls from Nigeria. In fact, he regrets why they create WhatsApp because every day he will get like 30 calls from Nigeria. And the
yes,
same thing, send me money. that before it wasn't like this. So you can imagine how, so people are angry. People are angry and people want to vote the right choice. If people are convinced that it's Tinubu, fine, so be it. People are convinced that it is Atiku, fine, so be it. People are convinced that it is Peter Obi, fine. If Peter Obi doesn't have structure and because of the lack of structure, he won't win. Why are people bothered about him? I'll tell you why people are bothered about him. Because the same people who are bothered about him knows that the strongest structure that drives any revolution is conviction. If you don't stop Peter Obi now, by the time youth take over, all these structures that you are saying the other parties have will mean nothing to them. What is the purpose of you having a house when your children is supporting the other man in the other house? The house means nothing. The house is just a rallying point. Now, what is rallying everybody together is not the building, it's not the secretariat, it's a conviction. Everybody has something in his head that this man is going to do it for us. So let's for that is the singular structure. My only prayer is that typical of an Igbo man, they should not translate this revolution to Igbo or Biafra because right now, a lot of people are not talking about Biafra, they are not talking about Igbo. But typically, if I know Igbos for who they are, somebody will come one time now, you see, you start campaigning against his brother. I pray it doesn't get to that. But like you said in your program, you don't campaign for anybody. I don't want to sound as if I'm campaigning for anybody. But then I just wish all the flag bearers the best they can do and clinch uh, whatever they wish for themselves. But at the end of the day, let the best happen for Nigeria.
Yeah, that's it.
Honestly, if
Mm.
if 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 I don't do God, if God leave God out of this, let the best happen for Nigeria. And the best must be somebody who is strong, somebody who is knowledgeable, somebody who has a clear understanding of the need of the masses.
And moreover, democracy to flourish. No more election malpractices, no more snatching ballot boxes. We just
I
want
think over
democracy.
time, yeah, you're right. I think over
Yeah.
time, Nigerians have given a new definition to democracy in
Mm.
Nigeria. I think the same actors who have shaped Nigerian democracy into the type of definition it has are the same people who are still recycling again. All these people that you are seeing that are there, they've done ballot snatching. Are you going to tell me that Tinubu didn't involve in ballot snatching? Are you telling me that Tinubu didn't involve in ballot snatching? Even Peter Obi, I'm not sure. So they are the people. Democracy, we need somebody who, you see, the next president must be willing to change everything, our political psychology, our political atmosphere, our political culture, the way we vote, this delegate system, whereby you go and pick one hungry man and give him for 2 million and he's ready to die for you. The last Ekiti state election, it was the same vote buying. It was more or less for the governorship for the highest bidder. Nigeria can't continue like that. We can't have an electoral system whereby the highest bidder pays for position. It's not good for Nigeria. Hello,
Mr. Raka,
it's not
yes.
good. That is not democracy. Where democracy is not a government of the highest bidder for the highest bidder by the highest bidder. It's government of the people by the people and for the people. So it is the people, not the highest bidder. What we've been practicing since 1999 is government of dollar. It's a currencyocracy. You who has the
Yeah,
money should buy.
they need to avoid those violence attached to Nigerian elections, like what happened in the past election that some people were killed, innocent civilians who went to the poll were killed during this their election malpractices. And this upcoming one, they should keep it peaceful and stop those talks and everything that they use
Like
to.
a returning officer, a
Mm.
Kano State returning officer, the man who is supposed to bring the result of Kano State to
Mm.
Abuja, was killed. Him and his family were killed. They were killed and burnt alive.
Oh,
And yet, the result was counted and accepted.
oh,
In a civilized society, such an election from such a region should be cancelled. But it was admitted
oh.
because the man saw that The result was flawed, and there was heavy malpractice, and said he cannot attest to this. He was killed. And those who ensured that this thing happened, those who silent were rewarded. Some of them are in power. Some of them are now your commissioner of police, your inspector general of police, your whatever, whatever. The Buhari government is a government of reward. You did this for me, take this one. You did this for me, take this one. People who are qualified to do the job were not those selected. It wasn't a government of merit. And government cannot be like that. You did this for me, you reward. Already is already starting. Somebody betrayed somebody, you are rewarding him with the position of vice president. This is not democracy. We don't
Buhari is
practice
so
democracy like
wicked.
that.
Buhari is too wicked. In past election, Buhari came out publicly telling Nigerians that anybody caught snatching ballot boxes will be killed, should be killed. That's what he said. But I've never seen
What do you,
Buhari coming up to condemn Boko Haram or
uh,
the ordering the
uh,
killings of Boko
why
Haram.
would he condemn? Why would he condemn Boko Haram, whereas they are the ones sponsoring it? As a matter of fact, I can tell you that there were some group of Boko Haram that were caught in Plateau State, and they said they should be brought to Abuja. The GOC here now insisted that no, they should be tried there in Jos, and because of that, they took those guys to Abuja, and the GOC here was transferred out of Jos. The country is a mess. The country is a mess. Hold on a second.
Guys, if you are watching right now and you want to call him, please do that. If you have any question, please leave your question in the comment section. It is time for me to read some of the meaningful questions. The meaningful ones.
So is there any question or comment that needs to be addressed?
Yeah, he said religion is worse than politics in Nigeria. Absolutely. Because they are not being
Say what?
regulated. He said religion is worse than politics in Nigeria. At least in the
Of course.
politics, some corrupt leaders were being persecuted. You understand? So, but when it comes to churches, I've never seen any pastor being arrested for the atrocities that they are committing in the country. That is so true. They are even worse than the politicians. Politicians are being regulated, criticized. In most cases, these pastors, they just do whatever they want. They commit atrocities. Nobody is persecuting them. Nobody is arresting them. How many times have you ever seen a group of Nigerians protesting against the atrocities of the pastors in Nigeria? Never. But we are protesting against the government all the time. So that's the thing. The government, we have to force the government